It's the #1 team in the country that you outscored 22-2, I believe, in 2 games. What does that say about you guys?
Well, I mean, it says both.
That was a little grotesque, I think. Welcome to the Red and Blue Review. A pie in the face for Matt Helms, an embarrassing day for the Wildcats as the #1 baseball team in all the land gets swept by the guys from Planet Red. Welcome to the Red and Blue Review. Daryl Bird takes care of things on the Kentucky side of things. Welcome to the show.
And I can't really pick on Louisville a whole lot because they beat the #1 baseball team. We don't have time to get into how midweek games versus weekend series in college baseball and all that, but I will criticize U of L on this. The pie was shaving cream. Come on, at least make it whipped cream, something that you would like, but shaving cream, yuck.
Now, Howie, unfortunately for him, has covered a lot of Louisville losses to Kentucky this past season, not counting football.
Right.
But, boy, did you make up for it in baseball. Swept them.
Fantastic. Baseball and softball. The spring sports are doing extremely well. But the funny thing about that pie to the face, Matt Helms, great kid, and, you know, he gets back up and he starts doing the interview again, and licks his lips and he goes, oh, that's shaving cream. Just like Daryl said.
Well, we've had more than a few close shaves ourselves here on the Red and Blue Review, talking football, baseball, and basketball in the lightning round. Lightning round on the Red and Blue Review is brought to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety, reminding you that one text or call could ruin it all. Well, what's hot for the University of Kentucky is Joker's making a little bit of a paradigm shift in the offense. He says this year, this coming football season, the Cats are going to throw it more than they have during his tenure as the Kentucky Wildcat football boss.
We got to be balanced, and we'd like to be a team that has about 80 plays, which we'd like to throw it about 45 of those 80. I know it's not equal, so I don't want anybody to say, well, that's bad math. I know what math is, but I'd like to throw it about 40. If you throw it 45 times and running it 35 times, that's balance to me. You know, that's balance.
I tell you what, if they're throwing 45 times a game, that's perfect math in my book. They're going to struggle. It's a tough deal to be in the SEC, and there's no doubt. I mean, that's no secret. It's going to be a challenge. You better be entertaining, and for sure, with so many young people on this roster, the sophomore there, Maxwell Smith, is a sophomore throwing to another sophomore there, DeMarco Robinson. Very young playmakers. You better be entertaining, and you better do what you can in that regard to make it fun for the fans, and throwing it is the best way to do it.
Daryl, when I was sitting at that game, the thought that came to my mind is I'm not seeing a lot of SEC caliber players on the field. Am I wrong about my assessment?
You're wrong if you're going to look specifically, because they have a lot of good individual players on both sides of the ball. The problem on offense is every one of those are really young.
Yeah,
that's going to be a challenge. The best running back who didn't play is a sophomore now, and the only one playmaker is Lerod King is a senior. Otherwise, it's a lot of youth.
On the Louisville side, what's hot is, of course, that baseball team. Kentucky just came off of a series win against then #1 LSU. Kentucky beats them. They get the #1 ranking. Louisville then undresses the Cats here in Louisville, and they did it with 6 pitchers.
Yeah, they did a real good job today. You know, they came in. We've been having trouble with the bullpens throwing strikes, but they came in, dominated the strike zone, and we were able to keep them to, 5 hits.
I challenged the bullpen Sunday after we lost that our strength should be our bullpen. You know, we're running out experienced guys, talented guys that are all-stars in the Cape, going to get drafted, and I really challenged them on Sunday. So we felt like if Chad could get us off to a good start, then the bullpen was going to come in and give us a chance to win.
Yeah, let's talk about these midweek games. They are odd because you don't have your starting pitchers out there. You don't have, you know, it is a little weird. And so usually these games are like 10-9, you know, 15-14. These are, you know, it's a lot of hitting in these games. And that's what's so odd about these Kentucky games is Kentucky was completely shut down in the first game and only scored 2 runs and really only had 5 hits in the entire second game. Louisville's B-team pitchers essentially absolutely shut down the #1 offense in the SEC. It was amazing job pitching performance.
What's not hot at the University of Kentucky, in addition to that baseball team that suddenly hit the skids, is how old some of the assistant coaches are. Pat Washington, the guy who's running the UK passing game, has been coaching in the SEC before his current crop of players even finished the first grade.
Pat's a ball coach. He is a ball coach. He has a good motivator. Gets after it. People talk about age and all this. Like, come on, age is nothing but a number. You guys saw how Pat and Coach Cassidy, those guys got energy. I mean, it's not about age, it's about passion. And Pat Washington has passion about this game. He has passion about being here, which is important. Being here at Kentucky. Guys don't have passion about being here. We don't want them here.
Excellent, an excellent response. And did you notice Joker went out of his way to take a question about Pat Washington and turn it into the issue of age? Because he's heard that. A lot of fans are complaining. A lot of fans are very concerned that Joker, who's nearly 50, is the youngest person on his own staff. And the perception is recruiting is a young man's game. You better have a young, energetic coach on the recruiting trail to get you players for the future. And UK does not have that. Joker's trying to explain it away before he builds that it's not about the age, that's a number, it's about the passion. It's a really good response and very smart of him to kind of take the reins and go, get his talking point in even though nobody brought it up.
Joker's coaches have age. Charlie Strong says his coaches do not have ego.
Well, just because you've been able to stay together, and so it's all about continuity. And now that when you look at a coaching staff, it's where guys now know the personality of the other guys. So now you don't have to walk in. If a guy says something, he doesn't have to worry about this guy, getting his ego busted or whatever. But there's no egos. I tell them all the time, guys, there's no egos around here. So check your ego at the door. If someone want to ask you a question, just answer it. I've been on staffs where you walk in and you can't say something because you think this guy is going to get offended, and then an argument starts. But there's no arguing going on here. I mean, if a guy says something, he says it. If you don't like it, it's too bad. Well, he has an opinion.
I really like this approach, and I really like the fact that nearly all of Louisville's coaching staff is staying together. I mean, they moved, Sean Watson around, and you've got a new coach in Sharon Moore, but he was already on staff for the last 2 years. These guys know each other. They've worked with each other quite a bit. And to Daryl's point about youth on the staff, Moore is very young. Ron Dugans is very young. They've got Brian Jean-Marie, who's very young. So they've got some good young recruiters on the staff as well. But they've got some old, experienced coaches in Vance Bedford and Watson and Borberly, those guys who've been around the block, and Charlie Strong, of course.
The buzz at the University of Kentucky is, how much longer is that UK-IU series in basketball going to continue? You know that Tom Crean and John Calipari are good friends, but that doesn't mean this series is solid. Cal wants to continue to play the series on neutral courts. Crean wants it home and home, and even Crean had to admit the atmosphere on a neutral court at the NCAA tournament was incredible.
The hype surrounding it, there's no question. That was even underrated and undervalued for how loud it was in there. I'd like to take it a couple minutes to take a look around. Didn't quite have that kind of time, but walking out there, that was a big deal. That was a big deal.
As most everyone knows, this series used to be neutral court. They would play Freedom Hall, and they would play at what I guess was the RCA Dome back in the day, and it was great. It changed because Indiana wanted it changed because Indiana was awful. And Tom Crean did not want to get caught in a situation where the Hoosier Dome, as it once was called, was 90% blue. And I don't blame him. So you go to home and away. Well, guess what? Indiana's good again. Indiana's really good. So from UK's perspective, I guess you would think, oh, you're always going to agree with UK. But to me, it makes perfect sense now that IU is back. UK is definitely back. Put this thing back on a neutral court, split the revenue, and it would be a blast every year.
Charlie Strong coined a phrase last year, fake juice, and he used that to describe players who act like they're ready to play, which in deep down they're really not. He says that's not going to be a problem this year because now the players are really learning how to do it for real.
They know what we expect of them, and so the expectations there, and those guys all understand it. So you would like to think there's no fake juice, and you notice it right off, guys. And I tell them all the time, guys, I know right away when it's fake juice and when it's real, because a lot of times if the game is right, nothing is hardly said. But when you run out there and you're not ready to play, and everybody's trying to bounce around, and I said all I had to do is look at a certain position. I can tell you right now if it's fake juice or not. And a lot of times it starts with the defensive line. I can look at that group of guys and tell you if we're ready to go play or not.
You've heard the term quiet confidence. That's what Charlie Strong wants to see from his team. He wants to see guys who are ready, pumped up, ready to play that football game, but quiet and focused and ready to go. He doesn't want to see guys jumping around and screaming and hollering and that kind of thing. And he said he saw that quite a bit last year. Most notably, what I think it was the Marshall game, the FIU game. He wants to see quiet confidence and focus. And if Louisville stays focused this next year, there's not a team on their schedule they can't beat.
That's exactly right. Coming up on the Red and Blue Review, we're going to tell you about what's up in one of the things going on with Darryl and his book. As we head to the break, I want to tell you about a golf tournament that you may want to get involved in. It's got kind of a red and blue feel to it. It's the Joe B. and Denny Red and Blue Celebrity Golf Tournament at Wildwood Country Club, May 15th. Lunch starts at 11. They'll tee off at noon. If you want to get involved, the number to call is 584-9781. When we come right back, we'll tell you why you can't buy a bud at Commonwealth Stadium this year, but you'll be cheering for one. And as we head to the break, DB is going to tell us about his Celebrate book.
Appreciate it, sir. Celebrate is out everywhere. I did the math on it. 148 different cities in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and I didn't even include some of the outlying regions like southern Indiana, northern Tennessee, where you can find it. If you prefer to order and have it sent to you seamlessly, magazine.catspaws.com. We will get one out the door to you that day.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, check out Allstate Ford's pre-owned inventory at allstatetrucks.com. Large selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Also, a nice selection of Ford-certified pre-owned vehicles. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
It's Chevy Truck Month, and now is the time to get your new truck. Bachman has more Chevy trucks than any other dealer, all at fantastic prices. You'll get every Chevy incentive plus exclusive Bachman discounts during Chevy Truck Month. Tremendous selection of Silverados and every dependable Chevy truck. Plus, you save more during Chevy Truck Month with exclusive Bachman discounts. All Chevrolets are created equal. Bachman makes the difference.
Underage drinking can permanently affect your memory and speech abilities. 10% of suicides involve underage drinking. 36% of homicides involve underage drinking. 30% of drownings involve underage drinking. Almost half of underage drinkers become addicted. Don't throw your life away.
See Allison at lunch today? I'm gonna text her. I'm gonna text Allison. Hey, hold up, Matt's calling me. Matt's calling me. Hey, we got the food and we're on our way right now. Hey, who's coming, bro? You're the one who needs help.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card is available now. Play 8 great courses for one amazing price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. Hurry, they won't last long.
It's delicious. Why are you trying to do this to me?
That is Chad Thomas and his son Blake. Now, that's not unusual. We have to coach Darryl to spell C-A-T-S as well. It's
he
not
did
just
better than me.
Hey, if you've got a video of your family being a fan, shoot it to us here on the Red and Blue Review. We'd love to feature you here on the show. Right now, we're going to be talking a little football and basketball and baseball in our Game Time Storylines. Up first on the Game Time storylines, Joker talking about his football team this year, and what he'll tell you is there may not be a lot of household names on the backs of those Kentucky jerseys, but there's talented players inside those jerseys.
Now, I worked a training camp one year with Joe Gibbs, and I can remember one of our coaches meeting. There's something to be said for a guy. Every time you have a scrimmage, he makes a play. And DeMarco Robinson is that guy. I mean, every time we came into this place, he made a huge play for us. And today he made a lot of big plays for us. So we think that he's one of our playmakers.
If you're looking for hope as a UK football fan, and Lord knows every one of them are, DeMarco Robinson, Darryl Collins, the tight ends, Tyler Robinson, and Anthony Kendrick. A lot of young playmakers you've never heard of. Josh Clemens, as far as the running back goes. There's a lot of good talent there. They just have no experience, and you don't know who they are yet. But that's where your hope is played in. They're going to throw the ball more, and they've got guys who can catch it and move it. And they're getting a little bit bigger. You've seen a lot, especially running back, that there'll be a little guy who does pretty good, then he gets hurt and he's out, and then you get in the SEC and he gets killed and he's gone for the season. But these guys are getting bigger and bigger and faster and faster. You just don't know who they are yet. So there is your hope.
It's important to get off to a good start in whatever you're doing. Louisville baseball has certainly done that this year. Got off to a 5-0 lead on Kentucky in their most recent win over the Cats. And for the season, now listen to this, for the season, Louisville is outscoring their opponents in the first inning 69-9.
Our strength all year has been scoring early, and Chittenden's at bat in the first. The 2-out RBI was huge, and then we put up the 6th spot in the third, and that's been our strength all year. We can score in those first 3 innings, and when we do, we got enough pitching depth, and we should play good enough defense where it sets ourselves up for a win.
And this is really what happens in baseball a lot of times, too. If you put up a couple runs, like Louisville did against Kentucky, you put up a couple runs in that first inning, you put pressure on the other team, a lot of those teams will either fold or get tight or think they have to come from behind or start swinging for the fences, that kind of thing. It changes a baseball game, and that's been Louisville's key to success this season. Put a couple runs early. Dan McDonald likes to call them crooked numbers. We want crooked numbers in that first couple of frames. You put a crooked number up there, it makes the other team real tight real quick.
For the University of Kentucky, this is one of those years where Kentucky is looking to replace a lot of guys in the linebacker corps. They've been really good at that, sending a lot of those guys on to the NFL. This year, the star player is a guy named Bud Dupree. So, Cat fans, this Bud's for you.
You keep hearing the buzz about Bud Dupree, and you saw it. The guy's so fast off the edge. He's what we have to block week in and week out. I mean, he's a real guy. He's a real SEC outside linebacker.
I bring speed, power, agility. I can pass, rush, cover. Don't really matter, whatever it is.
He is the classic example of the coaching staff being able to find kind of the diamond in the rough. There's a lot of attention, not a whole lot of attention surrounding the guy.
Yeah, he's number 2 in these pictures. Number two, yeah.
Watch him. He is quite the player. A lot of speed off the end. Watch the inside. You got Mr. Cobble, Dante Rupp, both huge players who can clog up any run game. So they've got some talent back there. That, again, it's kind of like the offensive side. They got a lot of young names that you may not recognize. You're just going to have to grow and learn to love them. You didn't know who Danny Trevathan was a few years ago, and they've got those type of athletes. You just got to give them a chance to get out on the field and show something.
Charlie Strong would like to have one feature running back this year, but he's not going to have it. Instead, he's going to have a committee of running backs. 4 guys will get a chance to carry the rock for the Cards.
I like to see one guy kind of emerge, but you look at the way the guys, if you were to take spring ball right now, I would tell you that Sonoris Perry probably had the best spring. And if you watch him run, he runs so hard, he runs behind his pass. And Dominique Brown, and it's not to take anything from Dominique, Jeremy, and Corbin Lamb, but you have 4 guys there, and it's like, you're sitting there with a good group of running backs. And you're saying, something we should, just keep running these guys in and out, give them some plays, and let's see what. But you like one guy to set in there because it's all about them being consistent where they get enough touches. And now if I get enough touches, if I get 20 touches, maybe I'll break 1 or 2.
I really do think that he'd prefer to have a Bilal Powell type where he just hands the ball off, that's his guy, that kind of thing. It makes it easier on Charlie because he doesn't, he's concentrating on defense. He wants one guy over there to carry the load. I think he'll have 4 guys this year. I think Dominic Brown will be there. I think Sonoris Perry will be there. I think they've got some guys who will be good rushers, but I think each guy will get, there will probably be 4 different guys during the season have a 100-yard game.
When we come back on the Red and Blue Review, we'll tell you why freshmen may have to be a fixture in UK football coming up this fall as we head to the break. Howie's going to tell us about CardinalSports.com.
CardinalSports.com is a great place to get all your football and basketball recruiting stuff, all the videos, all the post-game reaction kind of thing. It is also good for baseball over these next month or so. Check out all the different, we've got the video. If you want to see that video of the pie in the face again, check out CardinalSports.com. I've got it in super, super slow-mo, and I've watched it probably 20 times.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, check out Allstate Ford's pre-owned inventory at allstatetrucks.com. Large selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Also, a nice selection of Ford-certified pre-owned vehicles. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
It's Chevy Truck Month, and now is the time to get your new truck. Bachman has more Chevy trucks than any other dealer, all at fantastic prices. You'll get every Chevy incentive plus exclusive Bachman discounts during Chevy Truck Month. Tremendous selection of Silverados and every dependable Chevy truck. Plus, you save more during Chevy Truck Month with exclusive Bachman discounts. All Chevrolets are created equal. Bachman makes the difference.
Underage drinking can permanently affect your memory and speech abilities. 10% of suicides involve underage drinking. 36% of homicides involve underage drinking. 30% of drownings involve underage drinking. Almost half of underage drinkers become addicted. Don't throw your life away.
Did you see Allison at lunch today? I'm gonna text her. I'm gonna text Allison. Hey, hold up, Matt's calling me. Hey, we got the food and we're on our way right now. Hey, who's coming, bro? He's head.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card is available now. Play 8 great courses for one amazing price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. Hurry, they won't last long.
What needs fixing on the Red and Blue Review? Brought to you by Doug Jones Home Improvements.
What needs fixing this summer for the Cats before they kick it off this fall is they need to find a way to fill this talent gap they've got. And Joker says that starts with giving the freshmen a chance to compete for starting positions.
I think it's unfair for us to bring a freshman in here and bury him down the depth chart and not get him reps. First of all, if you put him at 15, how do you get him reps? You don't get a chance to get those guys to even see him. But we got to see if these freshmen are better than our 3s and 4s right now. So, and we also got to see if they're better than our 1s and 2s. How do you see that? By getting reps. And they're going to get reps at the 3rd. I just don't think it's fair to a freshman. First time away from home. You guys have written up all these nice articles about him, and then they come in here and they're 15. I don't think that's fair to those kids.
I don't know if all coaches do that, but Joker said the same exact thing last year. If you're a freshman, and he tells his veterans, freshmen come in, they're automatically 3rd team, so they get reps. So they get to see what they can do, and it makes perfect sense. Especially, look at Kentucky. We were talking about the playmakers earlier. Everybody's young, so what's the big deal if you give a true freshman a shot at it? Patrick Tolles is the player we had featured in the little graphic at the bottom, the quarterback from Fort Thomas Highlands, who's set so many records. Dashawn Mobley is a running back from Tennessee who is the all-time leading rusher in the state of Tennessee. Not bad. He's got some good company there. He needs to get a look. They've got to find bigger running backs and running backs who are more durable, especially in the SEC. You can't get away with one. You need 2 or 3 because you're going to get banged up. History proves that. A lot of young guys, give them a look early and see what happens. Because like I said, they're young anyway. It's not going to make that big of a difference.
You know, the thing I see about that, if a kid is good enough to come in as a freshman and play in the SEC, he's probably too good to be at Kentucky. He's probably at one of the other schools, in all honesty. I mean, that's a huge step going from playing high school football anywhere to competing in the SEC.
You notice what we talked about, for the most part, you're talking skill positions.
Yeah.
A running back can do that. A wide receiver can do that. Some quarterbacks can do it. If they've got enough savvy, they've got enough maturity, they can handle it. You usually won't see that on the offensive line. Every now and then you'll see some guys spot duty or D-line, but it's too physical of a game. You seen these high school kids nowadays? They don't look like we did in high school. These guys come in, they're cut, they're ready to go. They can step. If they can learn the system, they can play right now.
What needs fixing at the University of Louisville, what did need fixing last year was the offensive slugs they were in early on in the season. They got that changed when Sean Watson came in, and now that's been fixed. Sean Watson is calling the plays full time.
Oh, I've always been comfortable with Watts, even when he started calling the plays last year, because it's, you look at it, it's a balanced attack. It's all about running the football, and that's what I like to see is run the ball. And then Teddy has developed so much under him, and he's going to continue to develop. But we'll be able to move the football. Now it's just defensively, can we go stop it?
Charlie Strong took a really smart tact with Sean Watson. He said, okay, 1, am I comfortable with him? Yes. 2, is Teddy Bridgewater comfortable with him? Yes. Those are the only 2 questions you need to know, because Teddy's going to be your quarterback. Teddy loves Sean Watson, loves the play calling, and you saw just a couple tastes of that in the spring game. More passing, more down the field, and they've got the playmakers on those outside to really get it done.
Howard, give me your thoughts about Janelle Smith doing a reverse pivot on Weber State and now ending up back at Arkansas.
How awesome is that? He takes over for Bobby Petrino. I mean, it's just too good to be true. The only thing I hate it for is Weber State, his alma mater, and now they lose him.
All right, next time on the Red and Blue Review, we're going to talk more deeply about this Kentucky and Louisville football season. It's going to mean a lot in Louisville. It needs to mean a lot in Lexington, and we'll start talking about that as we go through the summer here on the Red and Blue Review. The Red and Blue Review has been brought to you by PNC Bank, Allstate Ford Truck Sales, and the Muhammad Ali Center.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card featuring Chariot Run, Bardstown Country Club at Maywood, Rosewood Country Club, Indian Springs, Cave Valley Golf Resort, the Falls Golf Resort, the Bull, and Stonecrest Golf Course is available now. Get your golf tour card and play 8 great courses with cart for one low price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. You can play anytime, but you must get your golf tour card now.